welcome back, everybody. You're watching Cape Rugby TV. It's nice to have you with us. So we'll carry on talking about what's happening in the world of Western Province Club Rugby. And for those of you that have just joined us, remember, big thanks, of course, to our partners on board with us, Score Energy Drinks. Renzo put in the fridge for us, a nice ice-cold Score. And, of course, don't forget, you go to our Facebook page and enter the Score competition. Of course, you can see behind me there, CyberSmart Internet Services are, of course, on board with Cape Rugby TV, and you can see www.cybersmart.co.za, internet hosting, as well as, of course, service providers, domain registrations, and pretty much everything that you need from an internet company. That's where we go, Cape Rugby TV. Cybersmart.co.za. Renzo Botman, before we go and take a look at the highlights between Kuilsriver and Helderberg, we're talking here about a season in Super League A that was a little bit unpredictable. If we think about last year, Helderberg was really shining. They were at the top of the pile, and their secret that they said was, of course, to make sure that there was stability in the season. But like in every year, we never know how it's going to pan out. Every club has a new dynamic. The season is completely different. And every club is showing their intentions early in the year. Did you think that Super League A, from your predictions early in 2024, was going to end up the way that it... And don't tell me that you predicted that Hamilton was going to win. So did you predict that was what the log was going to look like?
I almost said yes, Chefs. But you know, in matter of fact, I actually told Coach Alan Zondag beginning of the season, and he asked me like, what do I think about the team? And I said, I feel good about this team winning the league this year. So,
all right, let's
yes.
Let's obviously, I'm going to get a false back comment now. Dylan, same question to you. I mean, going into the season, you know, one is expecting some big names. You're expecting UCT to come out and make a name. You're expecting Marties to dominate. We always expect Marties to come out and dominate. Helderberg the year before had a really good season. False Bay was looking to make sure that they got back into the top 6. It was really not what I expected from most of the teams.
Yeah, it was a very interesting season, to be honest, and I think the top 6 in the last game, I would say top 8. The top 8 in the last game were separated by, I think, 4 points. So it came down to one game or one team beating another team in the very last game. So it came down to the wire. It's definitely a very, very interesting season, but also with that, I don't think in a couple of years I've played in weather like that before. The wind and the rain, it's a massive equalizer. And also it's a team that kind of takes the opportunity of a day. You get a few in a game. If you take those opportunities, they come off for you. So yeah, it was a very, very interesting season.
Of course, Kuilsriver and Helderberg were as competitive as ever. Let's take a look at the first half highlights here. This is Kuilsriver, Helderberg. Oh, there we go. This is just one of the games that happened during the league. Kelsriver and Helderberg. Reigns, it became, like Dylan said, a bit of an equalizer. It got to the point we didn't know who was going to win. It was could go any way on any day scenario.
Yeah, this season was, I can remember when we played against SK Homers. It's like Dylan said, I think they played the same day they played St. George's, and the weather was just the equalizer on, but I think, looking at the two teams, Kelsriver, Helderberg, I think, like you said earlier, different season, different dynamics at the club, maybe new players coming into the club. So it makes a bit of a difference there. But, it's obviously, where you're going to next season, where you learn, you go into it, and you take it from there.
Your thoughts, Dylan, from a Kelsriver point of view, Helderberg point of view? Falsbay played against them. There was no easy games in the season.
No, there definitely wasn't. We actually got Helderberg early on in the season and Kelsriver a bit mid-season. Two tough games, to be very honest. And I think we played, if I'm not mistaken, we played Kelsriver out at Kelsriver. So it's not an easy place to play. I think home ground advantage is massive with the clubs. And also same with Helderberg. They're big, heavy forwards. They've got actually a very good core group of players that are there. I'm not sure what's happening for next year, but some of their core players that are there are very, very big for the club.
Dylan, Helderberg, Kelsriver, all the teams in Super League, all across the board. How important is that depth? Second team, third team. Do you think that some of the clubs that it had an impact on the season?
I definitely think so. I don't think you're going to go through a season with not using maybe between 30 players. And depth is definitely tested.
Yeah.
You got to, so also a lot of the times you like to train with ones and twos very, very closely. So you try to keep your calls or things and all the languages the exact same so that they can step in and go straight away. So depth is definitely a massive thing. I think one year we went through, if I'm not mistaken, 52 players with the ones, and that was back with BD's time. So it's definitely a massive thing to have your depth and to go throughout the season, because you're not going to go throughout the season with just playing 23 players.
Rens for Helderberg, Kelsriver here, looking at the game, I must say that both teams on attack, it's a little bit hard to say the strengths and weaknesses of the sides. I think Dylan mentioned that the Helderberg had a big pack up front. Kelsriver, good running back line. Would you take a shot at saying the strengths and weaknesses of these two teams? Or let's just say the strengths. You don't have to say the weaknesses.
Look, James, I think you hit the nail on the head there. But yeah, looking at Helderberg, some of these guys, you got Conway there, the captain, you got Michael Visser there. So I think with Helderberg, they actually have a combination of both, big forwards with all these running backs with Jody them and all those guys. So they got some good running backs, because most of these guys play, on the 7th circuit, the touch rugby circuit, beach rugby. So they've got a good combination, and I think that helped them a lot this season with Kelsriver. These guys, they know running rugby, and it's obviously very difficult to defend against running rugby at the end of the day.
All right, folks, we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll carry on taking a look at what's happening in club rugby. We'll talk more about some of the highlights. We're also going to take a look at some of our women's rugby highlights during the season. Back in a sec. Don't go away.